What is going on, guys? My name is Bradley with DoublySports, bringing you a brand new episode of our Sleepers, Studs, and Stacks. Now, this is for Draftkings NFL Week 5 of the 2020 NFL season. There's been a lot of injuries, not a whole lot of weather concerns this week, which I'm really excited about. A couple of cancellations, but still plenty of opportunities to get yourself a winning lineup. So hopefully we can get you a couple value plays so that you can make the best lineup that you want. If at any point during the video you enjoy the content, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. The only thing I ask of you this week, let me know who your lock of the week is down below in the comments section. And by the way, thank you so much to all those who want to go above and beyond in support of the channel and pledge your support via Patreon, patreon.com/DoublySports. For doing so, we want to give you our starting 5 each and every week, as well as a late bloomer support that comes out Sunday morning. We talk a little bit about weather concerns, last minute injury news. So this week we'll be looking at things like Julio Jones. Is he going to be in or is he going to be out? Some defensive backs that might not be in the game. Raheem Mostert, will he be starting for San Francisco? Things like that we'll be discussing over on Patreon. So thank you so much for showing your support. I want to make sure I give that back to you. Our sleepers, these are the low price guys under $5,500 that I really expect to have a big weekend. A lot of this is going to be based off playing time, their matchup, or target shares. You know me, I love targets. I love touches. More touches means more opportunities. Starting things off with David Johnson at $5,200 against Jacksonville. New coaching happening for the Houston Texans. I'm glad Bill O'Brien's gone. Jacksonville allows 1.5 rushing touchdowns a game and 130 rush yards per game. David Johnson against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next up, we have T.Y. Hilton. Bit of a disappointment this year, but the Browns are giving up 310 pass yards a game. That's good enough for 30th worst in the league. He's yet to score a touchdown, but I think that changes this week. Greedy Williams is still out. There might be some other injury news in that Cleveland defensive back situation, so keep an eye on T.Y. Hilton at $4,900. Golden Tate, or really Darius Slayton for that matter. Golden Tate, the cheaper of the two options at $4,600 against the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants are going to be playing from behind for most of this game, in my opinion, and in Vegas's eyes, really. So going up against a defense that has absolutely struggled against the pass all year, they're dealing with their own injury situation for the defensive backs in Dallas. Golden Tate, $4,600. Darius Slayton, $4,900. And the next guy, Evan Ingram, at $4,600 against Dallas. Again, he's one of the leading pass-catching options for the New York Giants and Daniel Jones. If you think the Giants will be playing from behind and that Dallas has a bad defense, Giants should be throwing the ball 30 to 35 times this game, maybe more. Evan Ingram is going to probably be the leading pass-catching option. Next up, someone that I really still don't hear a lot of talk about, T. Higgins at $4,900. Now, he's seeing decent targets thus far in the year, and I truly believe he's probably the best red zone threat with C.J. Uzomah out for the season. Baltimore has struggled. They're in the bottom half of passing in the league defensively. Joe Burrow, still young, still a lot of things to work out offensively there, but him and T. Higgins, I think they're going to develop something very special. And now I'm really excited about the more to watch. The running backs, there's not a lot of really cheap running backs this week. There are some really good wide receiver options that I did not name. You want to look at some of the New York Jets options, etc. But Robbie Anderson at $5,900. He's over that $5,500 threshold, but him and DJ Moore. Very quietly, Teddy Bridgewater is number 7 in the league in passing yards. The only caveat to this is Teddy Bridgewater only has 4 passing touchdowns. So Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore still underpriced in terms of volume of touches and passing yards. But now they're going up against Atlanta, who really struggles over the middle. They've given up 7 touchdowns to tight ends this season. Carolina doesn't really use their tight end. They're actually in the bottom third of the league, or the bottom 3 teams in the league. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, all of those guys like to go over the middle. Wouldn't be surprised if Robbie Anderson has a massive game. Antonio Gibson, $5,000 going up against the Rams. Probably the cheapest running back that I'm willing to play this week. The Rams, a decent run-stopping defense, so I do have that hanging over my head. Christian Kirk, $4,900 from Arizona. Very cheap going up against the Jets. Le'Veon Bell in the backfield behind Joe Flacco this week for the Jets at $5,100, and Chris Herndon going up against Arizona. Now our studs. And although most of these guys are going to be far more expensive than our sleepers, these are the guys that you probably are going to want to target and get into your lineup. Starting with James Conner at $6,900. Going up against Philadelphia, Philadelphia has given up 1 rushing touchdown per game on average against running backs. Coming off a 2 weeks rest, I think James Conner is going to be ready to go. He's always been kind of plagued by a small injury here and there. Extra week of rest, should be ready to fire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire going up against Las Vegas at $6,800, probably my favorite and many people's favorite running back play of the week. Why? Las Vegas is 32nd against running backs in DraftKings points allowed. What more needs to be said? In a game where they should get ahead of Las Vegas, CEH should see a massive amount of touches, I hope. DeAndre Hopkins against a terrible New York Jets team at $7,900. You got to love this matchup, right? Jets, one of the worst defenses in the league, one of the worst teams overall in the league. DeAndre Hopkins, healthier than he was last week. $7,900. Love it. Tyreek Hill, $6,900 against Las Vegas. He has seen exactly 6 targets in 3 of the 4 games. In the other game, I believe it was week 3, he had 11 targets. Raiders are 20th in the league in yards per game allowed to wide receiver. Tyreek Hill is going to smash his season best this week. Mike Davis against $6,400. You can call me a homer all you want talking about the Panthers. But here, they are the number 1 running back usage team in the league when CMC is healthy. With Mike Davis, they're still a top 5 running back usage team. Atlanta is only better than the Carolina Panthers in receptions per game given to running backs, meaning more passes are caught by running backs against Atlanta than any other team in the league except for Carolina. Mike Davis is averaging 8 targets a game over the last 3 games, and he was only starting in 2 of those. Travis Kelce, $6,400. I don't think a lot of people are going to be playing Kelce this week. Could be a nice pick for someone that wants to just be a little bit different. It is expensive, but I really like 2 tight ends this week. Travis Kelce being number 1. Raiders have been one of the better teams against the tight ends. If you look at the stats, they're actually like 3rd in the league in terms of points given to tight ends. But who have they really faced? Carolina Panthers, least tight end usage. Buffalo Bills, 2nd to last in tight end usage over the season. New England Patriots, 3rd in the league in tight end usage this season. So the numbers are a little bit skewed. Travis Kelce at $6,400 should see a good volume of targets. And more to watch. Patrick Mahomes, I've talked about 3 of his weapons actually going up against Las Vegas. Teddy Bridgewater, 7th in the league in passing yards per game. I believe he's also top 10 in QBR. But the biggest caveat is he is not throwing touchdowns. Only 4 touchdowns on the season. Going up against a bad Atlanta defense, I think he can really capitalize on that this week. George Kittle, $6,600 against Miami. I think that'll be the most popular tight end play, along with Evan Ingram this week and Chris Herndon, who is super cheap. Josh Jacobs, $6,300 going up against Kansas City, who's also struggled against the running game a little bit. Also, Oakland's offensive line is still very good when healthy. Juju Smith-Schuster, another wide receiver that's going to be off to a good week against Philadelphia, and Ezekiel Elliott at $7,800. We're going to get into a lot of this and more over on Patreon, as well as Facebook Sunday morning. Remember, thank you for supporting us on Patreon. You get it first, usually Friday or Saturday morning. It's already up if you're watching this on Saturday morning. And then for free on Facebook, we give you a little bit of information Sunday morning around 11 o'clock. And now I am all about saving money and being a stud all in one. And that's how I feel with Manscaped's new Lawnmower 3.0. Support for Sleeper Studs and Stacks is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They literally obsess over their technology developments to provide you and me with the best tools for our grooming experience. We've all had nicks and cuts, but I told you last week, I want it to look like a baseball field diamond. Let's get some beautiful jagged lines. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team spent the last 18 months perfecting the greatest ball trimmer ever. And they just released their new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. It's got everything. It has an LED light to illuminate grooming areas. It's waterproof, so you can go ahead and groom in the shower. And the battery lasts up to 90 minutes, so you can take a longer, safer, more precise shave. No need to rush through it, guys. Take your time. It's a delicate process, okay? So, if you're listening to me speak right now, I really want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. You're not going to be disappointed. Trim your junk, okay? Get 20% off plus free shipping with code Doubly. That's 20% off plus free shipping with code Doubly, DOUBLY, at manscaped.com. Your downstairs will thank you for this one. Or your lady friend. They'll probably both do it. And now our stacks. These are 3-player, or sometimes in situations 2-player stacks, but these are the stacks or mini stacks to help build a strong foundation to get your team around. Where are we starting this week? I've already mentioned it. Going up against a terrible Atlanta Falcons defense. Teddy Bridgewater, lots of passing yards going to Robbie Anderson. Mike Davis in a great situation against a team that struggles against the running back just as badly as the Carolina Panthers struggle against running backs. Maybe some people are looking at Todd Gurley this week. Hint, hint, I didn't put him on here because I don't want him to do well. But Todd Gurley is another solid choice. Carolina Panthers against Atlanta, good stack opportunity. The New York Giants against the Dallas Cowboys. Daniel Jones, Golden Tate, Evan Ingram, I believe is the cheapest 3-man starting stack that you can have this week. Arizona Cardinals versus the New York Jets. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, what's not to love? And then Christian Kirk, the number 2 wide receiver for this team, at only $4,900 is an absolute bargain. So even though it's high end with the quarterback wide receiver, you get to be able to bring it back a little bit with Christian Kirk. And our defenses, we are always looking for quarterback pressure because that creates turnovers, that creates sacks. It creates opportunities to score points. I'm willing to give up a couple touchdowns if I can get that back with sacks, interceptions, and fumbles. Cardinals at $4,100 against New York Jets with Joe Flacco now starting. The LA Rams against Washington is my favorite defensive play of the week. They're taking on Kyle Allen, the new starter for the Washington football team, at $3,800. Steelers against Philadelphia and Carson Wentz at $3,800. And if you're looking for an absolute steal if Julio Jones is out, my Carolina Panthers. Why? Calvin Ridley will beat them. I get that. But that offensive line is giving up a ton of sacks this year. Carolina's front 7 doing a very good job at pressuring the quarterback, and they could have an opportunity to put up points for a very cheap price if you're in a pinch, okay? I'm not playing them in my lineup, but if you're in a pinch, I believe they're 4th cheapest on the slate. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. You can always connect with me over on Twitter at Brad M. Lee, or on Instagram, BWE. Those are my personal Twitter and Instagram. But if you just want to talk to the show, talk to some of the guys that work behind the scenes, follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/DoublySports, or find us on Twitter at DoublySports. Every weekend, we're giving you some of the best plays, Bradley's best bets, and a little bit more information. We are always wanting to talk sports, no matter what it is. Baseball, football, soccer, NASCAR. Baseball playoffs happening right now. We're about to start the World Series or the Championship Series, but we're getting close to the World Series. Let me know who you think is going to win. And then again, thank you so much for your support of the channel at patreon.com/DoublySports. I really do appreciate all of the support that you're giving me. And for doing so, we're giving you that weekly starting 5, our late bloomers report before we post it for free over on Facebook, as well as some of our best bets, weather updates, and more. So guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me this weekend. Hopefully the next time that I see you is in the green.